When I first told my parents I was going to run my own business through University Painters, my dad was kind of unsure about the whole thing, just because I guess he didn't really know much about University Painters, and he wanted to make sure that this was something that was legit and something that I could handle, even though he knew that I could. And so I got everything, all the paperwork, and talked to people, and afterwards he was still proud that I was going to try something that is so hard, especially for someone who's in school and so young. But at the end of the summer, he was amazed, and even though he's retired, he jokes about me making more money than him this year. So he was really proud of me.
What's the best part of the job? It's a little difficult to answer because there's so many good parts of the job. I mean, I call it the ideal summer job. The pay is great. It's unbelievable experience, and you're in charge of your time. And I worked less than I worked at other jobs, but had a lot more fun, made a lot more money, and learned a lot more. So can't ask for much more than that.
It's really beneficial using the University Painters name and trademark. Really adds brand recognition to your business. A lot of people know the University Painters name and logo from years in the past and from other managers in the business, and really I think brings more business and more credibility to the table.
How well did the company training sessions prepare me for the job ahead? They taught me from the ground up. I really didn't know a thing about painting when I started. I had very little business knowledge. They taught me from ground zero all the way to the point that I'm at today. And even after the training sessions, I had a general manager that I could consult with and was there to answer any questions that I had and be there for buddy estimates as well. So the training sessions provided me with everything that I needed to be as successful as I was.
What I like best about being my own boss is not having to wake up at any specific time. I like to get up early, that way I can see how things are rolling, how production is coming along with my crew, and make sure jobs are getting done on time. But that's probably the best thing I like, that you control your own destiny, and that's what I like to do. So that's one of the main reasons I took this job.
The most challenging aspect of the job has to be, although you have flexibility, still managing your time. I mean, because there is no structure to the job. You have to set aside time each week to do the estimates, and at the same time, you have to be able to meet with subs and make sure production's going well too. So balancing your schedule during school and during the summer was probably the hardest part.
The training sessions, to start off with, for University Painters, were 2 weekends. I had to come back from school. They were Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all day long, and I think they were very beneficial. Unfortunately, when we did the estimates, which I think was probably the most important part, it was freezing outside, so it was a little hard to concentrate. But other than that, I think they were very thorough and went through everything that I had questions about.
The advantage of using the University Painter system is really gives you a strong support network of other managers in the area. The office is great. The office is a place that brings in all your leads, gathers all your information from you, gives you support with customers. A lot of advantages that you wouldn't have if you were out running your business by yourself.
How did my parents feel about me doing this for the summer? They were always pretty supportive at first. They were a little skeptical, not knowing what I was getting into, running my own business. But by the end, given the results I had and how much I learned, they couldn't help but be highly supportive of it.
Did I have any reservations about locking into a contract with the company? I really didn't have any reservations. I looked through the contract, I read it over, consulted with my parents a little bit, and everything was very straightforward, and there was nothing to really be to be frightened about. I knew that the premise of things was, it's on your shoulders, and you really have to be responsible for things. And with the training that is provided, there's no reason not to be successful as long as you're putting all your effort into it. So I really didn't see any risk involved at all.
For marketing, there's a couple key things that really run your business. The lawn signs are great. They bring in lots of leads, people driving by houses. We also use a lot of direct mail, which is a piece of mail that gets sent to customers directly. That brings in a lot of leads for my business. Also, if you do real quality work, you'll get a lot of word-of-mouth leads as well. People will recommend you to their friends and neighbors.
My best lawn sign location was actually in my neighborhood, and it was on the corner of the street It's called Electric, and it's so busy because so many people work in the Navy Credit Building and the CIA and come back from, Tyson's Corner. So it was perfect. And the one thing that stood out, not just the lawn sign, but these people wanted to paint their house purple. So we painted their house purple. It's this huge, big wood brown house, and having it purple and bright blue garage door and bright blue front door, like, totally sparked off my neighborhood. And I probably got about 6 other leads, and I landed the jobs there. But that was great. And I think everywhere I went with my University Painters shirt on, everyone was like, "Oh, did you paint that purple house?" And so that was really helpful.
How did the training sessions prepare me for my business? The first training session had tons of information. It's 3 days of they get everything from selling to paint systems. It's really comprehensive, and the information, I must admit, doesn't click in at first. But once you get on buddy estimates with your GM, that then the information starts to click in your head, and you're able to apply that. I really liked the second training session. I thought that really fine-tuned your estimating standards and learn how to be a better estimator, and I think that helped me become a better seller.
When I landed my first job, I still remember it was out in Arlington, like a $4,000 job, and it felt really good and just motivated me to just do a lot more estimates that day. And I just wanted to do like maybe 20 more estimates after that, but I only had like one other lead, and I actually landed that one too, so you can imagine how happy I was.
I think a lot of the managers gained a huge sense of pride in themselves, at the accomplishments that they met over the summer. They took on a big responsibility, and a lot of them rose to the challenge and, just became so much more confident in their abilities to do something that they set out to meet goals that they had set for themselves.
How did I feel when I landed my first job? Well, it was probably the most exciting part of the whole summer, just because I was really nervous going into it at first, and felt that it would take a long time and be really hard to land jobs. But once I got my first job, it gave me a lot of confidence, and I was really excited. I ran to my manager and told him all about it, and it was a great feeling, and it just started me off on the right foot.
I must admit, at first when I left training, I thought that those couple months during school and doing the business was going to be hard, but actually it turned out to be great. I mean, it set aside time to do studying and set aside time to do the work. My grades turned out to be a lot better.
This summer I had about close to 200 jobs, and I maybe touched a paintbrush for 2 hours out of the whole summer. I painted a door.
You had to pick something.
I can say I didn't. I painted a door and did another little touch up.
Buddy estimates were good because when I walked in there, I was pretty nervous, even with a buddy. So I can't imagine how nervous I would have been just coming in there by myself. And buddy estimates, they taught you how to do an estimate. You don't want to overestimate, at the same time you don't want to underestimate. And when you underestimate is when you get hurt. And without a buddy, you need to get an idea of how much a house is going to cost, and so it's helpful. You got to go on buddy estimates if you want to be successful. Otherwise, you'll be trying to learn yourself a lot of things by yourself, and it might take a long time.